everybody, it's Keren here from tuppencecolored.co.uk, and thank you very much for joining me today. Today is the first video in what I hope is going to be a series where I talk about some of my favourite things, so my favourite crafty things and my favourite things in general. And these two little items here actually represent a few of my favourite things. First of all, I love little boxes and containers like these. This is a mini pizza box, and this is the sweet treat cup. I love daffodils. They're the national flower of Wales, which is where I live. And I also love playing around with colour and ink, and in particular I enjoy marbling. So this is my favourite things, shaving foam marbling. Stay with me, I'll show you what I did. My work surface is covered to protect it, and I've got a shallow tray here. This happens to be the lid of a storage box, and I'm going to fill the tray with some shaving foam. Don't think I've used this before, this particular kind, and you don't want expensive stuff. You want the stuff that's kind of super stuff. Give this a good shake. Okay. That's plenty. I'm just going to so that's reasonably smooth. So now I'm going to lay down some sprayed colour. This is just re-inker in water. This is balmy blue. This is just going to give me a little bit of a background. This is lemon lime twist. Nice sharp colour there. And then I'm going to add some drops of re-inker. So now I'm going to take a spatula and I'm just going to swirl these up. I think that's enough. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I've got a pizza box here, a mini pizza box, and I'm just going to spread it out, whoops, and pop it down onto the surface, and I'm just going to press it in just to make sure that every bit of it is in contact with the foam. And you can just swoosh this down. Now we used to do this with quite small children back in my teaching days, and they love doing it and we love doing it because although it looks very messy, it's actually pretty clean. Okay, so now I'm going to take that off the base. And this is where you think, oh no, I've made a mess of it, it's all gone horribly wrong. But, right, be brave. Because, let me move that aside just for 1 second. I've got another bowl here. Don't worry, that's coming back. And so something to use as a spatula, and I can just scrape that away. I'm not sure how well that's showing up on the camera, but that is very, very, very pretty. Okay, So that's one. So I've still got plenty of foam left. Yeah. So I am going to spread it out again. And add a few more drops of colour, and this time I think I want more blue in it. This time I have a full sheet white, so I'm going to want to make sure that I've got foam right up to the corners here, because I have plans for this. So in it goes, and down it swishes, and I want to make sure that every bit of my paper comes in contact with some of the shaving foam. And just tap it down. Don't be afraid of it. Just give it a swoosh. And this is why you protect your work surface, because you've got paint coming up the sides. Okay. So here it is. And you're looking at that thinking that is a terrible mess. But, excuse me while I sweep off the colour. Remove that. Okay, so that's coming along quite nicely. Here's my towel. There I have some beautifully marbled paper. That's going to take a little while to dry properly, so I'm going to allow it some time, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to make something with it. And here we are after giving them a nice long time to dry. So for the pizza box, all I have to do is to just fold it into place, and those bits go inside there, and that goes in there, and that is my box ready to be decorated. So we'll come back to that later on, I think. For this piece, I've got some plans for it. I want to use it on one of the sweet treat cups. So I have a template which wraps around the cup perfectly like that. If you want to hop on to my blog, you can download a copy of this. But there are quite a few people out there who are showing you what the template is. Okay, and I've turned my paper over because I'm going to be working on the back, and I am just tracing around the outside of the template. I'm using a pen so that you can see it, but you could use a pencil. But it is on the back, so nobody is going to see it. So now I'm going to take my nice big scissors, and I am just going to cut that out. I'm going to keep my curve nice and smooth. And my straight's nice and straight. And if you have a nice big size scissors for this kind of work, it really does help, because it's much easier to get a smooth curve with a large scissors. Alright, so now I'm going to check the fit on my cup, and that is going to be a nice snug fit, just like that. So I'm happy with that. Now with the paper that I've got left over, I'm going to take the largest of my circle framelets, and I'm going to cut out a circle. It's just a little bit smaller than the lid of the box, but it's close enough. And then with what's left over, I'll have enough for a card front. Time to do a bit of stamping next, and I'm using this stamp set. It's called You're Inspiring, and I'm going to be using the 2 stamps with the daffodils on. I've got them mounted up on my clear blocks. I've got some Whisper White card. This is about, I don't know, 2/3, 3/4 of a sheet, and I've got my crumb cake ink. So I'm going to stamp these images a few times each. So that's one. I think I'm going to need about 3 of these. 2. That one's smudged a bit, but it doesn't matter because we can trim that off. So let's have a 3rd one here, and we'll have 1 more just for luck, just in case we mess up. Okay, so now the big daffodil stamp, I want a couple of impressions of this. So inking my stamp up well, and I'm pressing it down firmly on the Whisper White, and I'm just trying to fit as many of these on as I can, because they're all going to be fussy cut out. So, you know, it's can I get another one on there? I can get a bit of one. Let's put a bit of something underneath to, here we are, scrap to protect my work surface, because I'm thinking that I might just cut out, I might decoupage up the flower heads. But then again, I might not. We'll just have to wait and see what I do. Alright, so that's my stamping done for today. So I'm going to clean the stamps off with my Simply Chamois. And then I can put them back. And they'll be nice and clean, ready for next time. I've made a start on colouring in the flowers, and I'm using my watercolour pencils today. I haven't had these out for a while. So I'm going to start with the basic grey, and I'm just going to use this where I want my shadows to be. And I'm not taking a huge amount of care. I'm just kind of scribbling, because it'll all get smoothed out in a moment. Okay, so just adding a little bit of shadow here and there. Wherever something is in front of something else, like that petal's in front of that stem, that's where you need to give a little bit of shadow. Helps your eye sort out what's in front and what's behind. Okay, alright, so that'll do for a start. Now I'm going to use Daffodil Delight for the petals, and I'm keeping my pencil quite flat to my paper because I'm colouring in a biggish area. Okay, and that little bud there, and this daffy here. Alright, so I'm going to speed up the video now, because you don't want to be sitting here all day watching me. But the colours that I'm using are Pumpkin Pie, Old Olive for the leaves. I'm going to go round the outside with some Pacific Point, And then I'm going to bring in my blender pen and I'm going to blend it all together. So I'll do this bunch and then I'll turn the camera off while I do these, otherwise we will be here all day. And yeah, while I'm colouring these in, give you some music to listen to. Okay, so as you can see, that is pretty messy, but now I'm going to come in with my blender pen and I'm going to make it all nice and smooth. So I've done my colouring and my fussy cutting, and my colouring is a bit on the impressionistic side and the fussy cutting isn't too fussy at all. It's quite rough actually, but I'm not bothered because that is kind of what I want to do. So I'm going to arrange my flowers onto the wrapper. And they're a little too long, so I think I'm going to get rid of this flower on the end here and see where that takes us. And do you know what? I'm just going to stick things down and I'm going to start roughly in the middle with these two pieces and we'll see where it takes us. And as I stick these down, I'm kind of overlapping the curve at the bottom of it. If you can see, that's sticking out around the edge there. Okay, so we'll trim these pieces, and I'm trying to keep them kind of following the curve of the wrapper wherever I can. Now this bit is going to go on top, this bit is going to be underneath, and I want to make sure I avoid that area there because that's going to be where my tape is, and it might not hurt actually if I put the tape there now. There we go. So that'll help me to remember not to stick anything over that piece. If I'm overlapping flowers slightly, it doesn't really bother me. Now this end is going to go on top, so I can glue my flowers right up to the edge of the paper there. Okay. I'm going to flip it over, take my large scissors, and I'm just going to trim away the pieces that I don't want. And ideally I would leave this time for the adhesive to dry, but do you know what? It is what it is. And then we have that. Okay. I'm just going to curve it. That's going to fit on there. And I'm just going to curl the paper with my fingers, and anywhere that it might pop up, like here, where there's an overlap. Which flower do I like better? I actually prefer that flower, but it's stuck down, so yeah, we'll live with it. Okay, so we'll stick that one into place. And now I'm going to bring back the base of the cup and wrap that around. Take the backing off. Actually, I could put a little bit of tape on this end. Not too much, just a little bit, just to stop it wandering off, and I don't want it to. So yeah, actually I should have put the tape on that side, shouldn't I? Duh. Silly me. Never mind. Now the backing paper. There we are. Let's got the backing paper off. Bring this around. Line everything up nice and snugly and press that in place. And there is the base of my treat cup decorated. Now for the lid, now I know I said for the lid, I know I said I was going to go away and cut this out with the largest of my circle framelets, and that is still a little bit too small, but what I found out was that one of our reels of Stampin' Up ribbon is actually a pretty good fit for the lid. So I just drew around it and cut it out instead. And I'm going to take one of my 2 bunches of daffodils here. And again, I'm going to give it some adhesive. Don't need to go all the way down to the bottom because there's a bit that's going to stick out down the bottom there. And I'm going to place this onto my card circle and press it down. And then, again with my large scissors, I'm going to cut away the bit that I don't need. Don't want that bit. Chop that away, that is gone. Okay. Liquid adhesive on the lid of the treat cup. That fits in there. Now I could stop here, that would be perfectly fine, but I want to trim the edge of the lid just a little bit. So I've got some of the reversible ribbon, which is, I think it's Coastal Cabana on one side and Granny Apple Green on the other. So I'm putting it with the Granny Apple Green side up, and I've just run a band of double-sided tape around the edge of the lid of the box, and I'm just stretching my ribbon along there to fit. Trying to keep it as straight as I possibly can. Not doing that wonderful a job, but it is quite forgiving because it's ribbon. Just going to bring that all the way over there. A bit of an overlap. And a little bit of my double-sided tape here on the end of the ribbon. Press that down firmly with my finger the tricky bit, getting the adhesive to stay on the ribbon while the backing comes away. May have to go and get a pokey tool in a minute. Nope, done it. Okay, then line that up, and there we go. And I'm just going to put a tiny little bit of liquid adhesive on top of that there. It will dry clear, but what it will do, it will seal that edge so that it doesn't come undone. And I'm going to call that done. And here is the pizza box. And I did think about, you know, making a belly band or something like that for it, but you know what, I'm just going to stick down the daffodils because I think that's very pretty just as it is. So there they are, finished. Now I've left them quite simple. I could stamp a sentiment and pop that on there. I've decided not to do it now because that way I could put a birthday present in here, or I could put an Easter present in here, or I could send something, you know, just thinking of you, and then all I will have to do is stamp the sentiment and apply it to the front of my box. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if so, thank you very, very much for staying with me. If you click that like button underneath, that thumbs up, that would help me a great deal, and if you'd leave me a comment, then that would absolutely thrill me because I love reading them. That is it for today. Thank you very much for joining me, and I hope you come back and see me again sometime soon. Bye bye.